Nigeria, the largest economy in Africa, is a country of huge resources and immense possibilities. With a population of well over 200 million people and an approximate area of 923,768 square kilometers, Nigeria is without doubt a beautiful country turned into a huge construction site.
We know that Lagos-Ibadan Expressway had been under perpetual construction. It had been under construction for almost 20 years. But this administration took the bull by the horns. That road, the target day for construction, for completion, is first quarter of 2022. We know of Enugu Port Harcourt, it's also done. We know of Onitsha, Enugu to Onitsha. The last time I landed in Enugu and I went by road to Onitsha, I saw the quality of work on that road. And I know that it will almost be nearing completion now. It's all over the country.
With new road infrastructure traversing the length and breadth of the country, rail lines built to provide alternative means of transportation, and inland waterways being developed to enhance mobility and communication amidst various kinds of infrastructure spread across parts of the country, the Muhammadu Buhari administration appears to be in a hurry to transform the landscape of the country and give the people a new lease of life.
So you see a government that is determined to change the narrative, a government that is determined to do things right. And what they need now, what government needs now, is our sincere support.
In fact, for Nigeria, erosion and desertification constitute very serious ecological concerns, such that if not properly handled, can disrupt the socio-economic life of the people and constitute obstacles to the development efforts of the government. While the southern part of the country is afflicted with gully erosion and flooding, drought and desertification ravage parts of the north. Of course, there are many other environmental issues that threaten the lives and property of Nigerians, north, south, east, and west. Here, the Ecological Fund Office comes to the rescue.
The Ecological Fund Office is an interventionist thing, and I know that they do it quarterly. They intervene quarterly. I believe that by and large, that office is making impact. In fact, I remember there was a time at the Federal Executive Council meeting that the Secretary to the Government of the Federation said there were about 30 or 35 projects ready for commissioning.
Established in 1981 as the Ecological Fund through the Federation Accounts Act of same year, the Ecological Fund Office, headed by a chemist, Dr. Habib Lawal, came into being in 1985 with a mandate to address the ecological challenges and improve facilities in various communities and institutions across the country, as was the case at the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, where erosion, flood control, and road improvement works were recently executed and handed over.
We commissioned this for the good of country and for the good of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria.
With a doctorate degree in chemistry from the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, Mrs. Lawal is an intellectual and an experienced technocrat whose infectious passion for the environment drives a motivated workforce committed to achieving the mandate of the office, where she serves as permanent secretary.
The mandate then, when it was established, was essentially a fund disbursing office to focus on the ecological challenges that Nigeria faces. And but through time, it has also metamorphosed. The mandate is just to any project, ecological challenge that has been identified, and the president has approved that that challenge should be remediated or should be taken care of. The office goes as a one-item agenda, goes to that location and ensures that that ecological challenge is taken care of.
The Ecological Fund Office functions differently from line ministries or conventional departments where things follow a certain trajectory. Here, execution begins when the President gives approval to projects brought to his attention from the affected communities through the Ecological Fund Office.
From the inception of Mr. President's administration in 2015 to date, he has approved a total of 280 projects. Out of those 280 projects, 260 have been awarded, meaning contracted out. Then out of those contracted out, 235 have been completed. Out of those completed, the 235, about 220 have been commissioned and handed over to the respective communities. 15 are awaiting commissioning and handing over. Then we still have 25 that are ongoing in different stages of implementation by the contractors. Then the last set of 20 are just undergoing procurement. They haven't been awarded yet. So in terms of, and there is no state of the federation that we have not done ecological project.
Located in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the EFO operates through the three functional technical departments of gully erosion and flooding, pollution control, as well as desertification, drought, and coastal zone management.
The first is the one that most people know about. That is the soil erosion and flood control department. So all challenges that are related to flood, road improvement, drains, culverts, some small bridges, and all of those things, and a large movement of water to make sure to curtail all of those. We have a department headed by a director known as Department for Soil Erosion and Flood Control. It's the most popular department because that's the biggest of all the problems we have. Then we have a second department that looks at pollution control. So it looks at the waste, petroleum product pollution, and different types of pollution that you may see, you may do, hospital waste, things that needs incineration, and all other related pollution, that especially pollution that contaminates farmland, fishing ponds, large bodies of water, and like the area that we have not worked much is in air pollution. I think that's one area, though the department has a mandate, I think that's one area I can say we have not done any work in Nigeria, at least to my knowledge, since I have been here in that area. Maybe because we have less pollution than most other areas. Not to say that we don't have at all, but maybe the significance when you compare it with other larger problems, then you think it's better to remediate this one than to go there. Then the last technical department is desertification, department that works on desertification, drought, and coastal zone management. So those are the three departments, and I'm glad to say that in all of these departments, in the time that I have been here and the time of the current administration, there is no department that projects have not been approved for by Mr. President.
If you don't say you are, nobody will say thou art.
In keeping with the President's directive that the impact of the office be felt nationwide, several projects are being executed and commissioned in various parts of the country. Just recently, Mr. Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, was on hand to commission the improved access road to the Federal College of Education, Yola.
On behalf of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I have the singular honor and pleasure to commission the road improvement, storm drainage, and access road into the Federal College of Education, Yola, to the glory of God and for the use of the college community and the benefit of humanity. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
As it was in Yola in the northeast, so it was in Enugu, southeast Nigeria, where Honorable Linda Ikpeazu of the House Committee on Ecological Fund inaugurated erosion control and road improvement works along the 3.8-kilometer Enugu-Eke to Omo-Eke Road. At the Navy Town, southwest Nigeria, the story is the same.
To the glory of God and for the benefits of Nigeria, I, on behalf of President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, do cut this step and thereby commission this project.
Here, the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Olorunimbe Mamora, commissioned the jetty and shoreline protection facility constructed at the Underwater Warfare School in Lagos State. Many communities in Nigeria have one form of ecological problem or the other to contend with. For a country this large and diverse, attending to the environmental issues of the people at the same time could pose a serious problem. But through strategic planning and calculations, the office is able to achieve balance and equity in its intervention programs.
Anytime we are going to the president, we ensure that every zone of the country, we select some states in every zone of the country. For example, if in this quarter I go to the northeast, for example, I take, say, Gombe and Adamawa states. I will go to North Central, I will take Plateau and Kogi states. I go to Southwest, Ogun and Lagos states. I go to Southeast Imo and Ebonyi state, for example. South Delta and Rivers. The next 4 months, I'll go to another, I will take 2 different states from that zone, not the ones I've taken earlier. Then the third time, I'll go to another that I have not taken, so that way we keep going round. And so every state has a piece of the pie.
Indeed, the enormity of the ecological problems in Nigeria is befuddling and requires the committal of huge resources to deal with. The Ecological Fund Office is not short on capacity and enthusiasm to handle the situation, but certain challenges constitute a drawback to its zeal and ability to do more.
To amount of funds the fund generates far is insignificant when you compare with the total national ecological challenges. Why am I saying so? In 2017, the Federal Executive Council directed the Ecological Fund Office to take stock of ecological challenges nationwide. And we did, and we came out with a publication. As at then, we had over 2,000 ecological sites in Nigeria. And even if you are going to keep the ecological challenges static, you freeze them. With the quantum of funds that accrues to the Ecological Fund that are available for Mr. President to deploy to those challenges, for the next 30 to 50 years, Nigeria will not be able to have enough money to solve and intervene in those ecological sites.
It is indeed a delight to watch the commissioning of these projects across the country and read on the faces of the people the joy and relief they feel. At the commissioning of the Ibiako-Oran Route Erosion Control Works in Akwa Ibom State, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, attributed the projects to the magnanimity of the President and the effectiveness of the Ecological Fund Office. As it was in Edo State, where the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba, inaugurated gully erosion control projects executed at the National Institute of Construction Technology, Uromi. So it was in other communities across the country, where environmental issues were also addressed.
On behalf of the Federal Government of Nigeria, I hand over this certificate of commissioning
to the community. It is our expectation that you take good care of the road and ensure that the drainages are not used as home for waste.
The Ecological Fund Office hereby hands over the project to you on behalf of your community to protect, to sustain, and ensure that the situation does not reoccur by blocking interference. I'm handing this over this 18th day of January 20 to the glory of God.
While the federal government appreciates the gratitude of the beneficiaries, Dr. Lawal thinks it is important for the people to play visible roles in preventing the escalation of environmental issues and to assume full ownership of the projects executed in their communities.
Nigerian citizens don't have awareness for self-help and also for maintenance. So you will see that it's goally we start small. What they can do within the street and sort it out will be left. It will keep getting worse. It will keep getting worse. As far as they are concerned, the street belongs to government. And therefore, what will happen? When it becomes unbearable, they cannot cross the beach, and that's then they will start writing, they will start coming. But when it was just beginning, they could take small actions with very small effort to ensure that they save the place, but it doesn't happen. So when the projects are completed, we now fix a day, invite the community, the chairman, the commissioner, the governor, and a government official is nominated by the president to go and commission and hand over the project to the community so that they can maintain the project. Otherwise, you find that projects are finished, and after a few months or a year, if there are drains or culverts, they have filled it with trash or what are called refuse. So that we have started. So it's one of the ways in which we ensure that they maintain it. We hand it over to them and tell them to own it, because as far as federal government is concerned, you've cried, you have this problem, Mr. President has approved that the problem should be sorted. The contractor has done his job, then we hand it over to you so that you can maintain it. But after the coming of a new deputy director into the office, Dr. Ruche, he also now suggested another step which we have taken on board, and we saw the value in that. That is, even before we start any project, once it's approved, we go and have a community meeting, sensitization, so that the community knows, the community leaders are invited, the contractor is there, the consultant that we supervise, the engineering firm that will supervise the project is there, and then the office is also there, so that they are briefed on what the project is, they are briefed of the scope of the project, and then they tour the area where the work will be done, and then their support is sought to enable the contractor to do a good job. And I think that also gives them additional sense of ownership.
From 1981, when it came into existence, to 1985, when the agency became known as the Ecological Fund Office, EFO has indeed come a long way. With passion and commitment, Hajia Habiba Mudalawal, a former university lecturer, has taken it even further, but attributes the glowing achievements of the office to the magnanimity of President Muhammadu Buhari, whose kind wishes and approval her office implements.
Thank you.